Imagine this, you wake up one morning, open your phone, and suddenly see a scary headline screaming across the screen. It says Congress just passed a brand new immigration law that could change everything for green card holders. Your heart starts beating faster. You wonder if your green card is now in danger. You worry whether you need to rush and file something right away. You start thinking, am I about to lose my rights? Will I lose everything I worked so hard for? Take a deep breath right now and relax. All across social media today, people are sharing wild stories and viral posts that are spreading pure fear and confusion. They claim green card holders must act immediately or face deportation. They say new laws were just signed that will take away your permanent home in America. They warn that USCIS is about to cancel green cards without any warning. Families are feeling terrified. People are calling each other in panic. But the truth is, almost all of these stories are either very misleading, taken completely out of context, or just plain wrong. My name is Saqib, and you are watching Global Immigration Updates, the channel that always cuts through the noise and gives you the real, honest facts about what is truly happening with US immigration law today. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through exactly what Congress did or did not pass. I will explain in simple words what it actually means for green card holders like you. I will tell you clearly what has really changed in the law right now, and most importantly, what you actually need to do if you need to do anything at all. So please stay with me until the very end. This information could save you from making a big, costly mistake just because you listen to fear and rumors instead of facts. Let's start with the biggest and most important question everyone is asking right now. Did Congress actually pass a new immigration law that affects green card holders? To answer this honestly, we first need to understand how laws are really made in the United States. Because immigration rules do not change in a single day, and a loud viral headline does not automatically become real law. In America, for any bill to become an actual law that people must follow, it has to go through three big steps. First, it must pass in the House of Representatives. Second, it must pass in the Senate, and both houses must agree on exactly the same words in the bill. Third, the president must sign it. Until all three of those things happen, nothing is real law, nothing can be enforced, and nothing can suddenly change your current immigration status. So, the next time you see a breaking news headline that says Congress passed something, the very first thing you should ask yourself is this: did it only pass in the House? Did it only pass in the Senate? Did both sides pass the exact same version? And has the president actually signed it yet? Because very often, what the news or social media calls breaking news is really just one part of the process. Maybe one chamber passed one version of a bill, but it still has a very long way to go before it could ever affect real people like you. Now, let's talk calmly about what has actually been happening in Congress over the past several months. There have been quite a few immigration bills introduced, talked about, changed, and voted on in different committees and on the floors of the House and Senate. Some of these bills were about making the border more secure. Some were about changing how asylum works. Others talked about fixing long visa waiting lists, helping employment based immigration, and yes, a few even included some words that could possibly affect green card holders in very specific and narrow situations. But here is the important truth you need to hold on to. The vast majority of these bills have never become real law. Many of them pass in only one chamber and then quietly die in the other. Some are just symbolic votes that politicians make to show their supporters they are doing something. Others are what people call messaging bills. They know the bill will never actually become law, but they vote on it anyway for political reasons. And even when a bill does manage to pass both the House and the Senate, it often gets stuck in a special conference committee where people have to work out the differences between the two versions. That whole process can take many weeks, many months, or sometimes it never finishes at all. So, what exactly is the viral news you are seeing today talking about? Based on the most recent activity in Congress, there are a few common possibilities. One possibility is that either the House or the Senate passed a bill about immigration enforcement, border security, or visa changes that include some language about green card holders, but only in very narrow cases. For example, green card holders who were convicted of certain serious crimes, people who got their green card through fraud, or people who may have given up their residence by living outside the United States for a very long time. Another possibility is that a big budget bill or defense bill quietly included some immigration rules as part of a much larger package. Or, and this happens all the time, someone took a bill that only passed a small committee, not even the full House or Senate, and posted about it as if it was already the final law. Let me be very clear and honest with you about this. As of today, in December 2025, the basic rights and strong protections that lawful permanent residents, that is, green card holders, have under US immigration law have not changed at all. Or if you are a green card holder, your status is still protected by the same Immigration and Nationality Act that has been the main law for many decades, with only small changes added over the years. You still have the right to live and work permanently in the United States. You still have the right to travel in and out of the country as long as you have the proper papers. You still have the right to bring certain family members here. And you still have important protections that stop you from being removed from the country unless you fall into some very specific categories that have existed in the law for a long, long time. What are those specific situations where a green card holder could face removal? This is nothing new. These rules have been around for many years. A green card holder can be put into removal proceedings if they are convicted of certain serious crimes, such as aggravated felonies, crimes of moral turpitude under certain conditions, domestic violence, drug crimes, firearms offenses, or other very serious offenses. A green card holder can also face problems if they got their green card through fraud or by lying about something important. Other reasons include becoming a public charge in very specific cases, voting illegally in a US election, living outside the United States for too long without a re entry permit, so it looks like you abandoned your home here, or getting involved in certain activities that affect national security. None of these rules are brand new. None of them suddenly changed this week. Sometimes Congress does pass a bill that changes the list of crimes that can lead to deportation, updates the definitions of certain offenses, changes how waivers work, or shifts enforcement priorities. For example, a bill might make the definition of an aggravated felony a little wider, or it might take away some waivers that judges used to give in hard cases. These kinds of changes can be important when they happen, but they usually only affect people in very particular situations, not every green card holder everywhere. So here's what you should do right now to stay safe and smart. First, stop panicking just because of scary headlines. Second, carefully check whether any bill people are talking about has actually been signed into law by the president. You can do this easily by going to the official website Congress.gov, searching for the bill number, and looking at its current status. If it says it only passed the House, it still needs to pass the Senate. If it passed the Senate, it still needs the House. If it says it was presented to the president, it is waiting for his signature. Only when it says it became law and shows a public law number has anything actually changed. Third, if a law really has been signed, take time to read what it actually says and does. Most immigration bills are hundreds of pages long and only affect very specific groups of people. Just because a bill talks about immigration does not mean it will touch your personal life. Fourth, if you are a green card holder and you have any criminal record, have ever been arrested, have any old immigration problems, have spent a lot of time living outside the United States, or you feel worried about your status for any reason, this is a good time to talk with a real licensed immigration attorney, not a notario, not a random visa helper, and not someone on social media pretending to be an expert, but a proper attorney who is licensed by a state bar and preferably belongs to the American Immigration Lawyers Association. A good attorney can look at your exact situation, tell you honestly if any new rules affect you, and help you take smart steps to protect yourself, such as applying for naturalization if you are eligible. Becoming a US citizen removes most of these worries. Fifth, if you are a green card holder with a completely clean record, no crimes, no immigration violations, no fraud in your past, and you live here in the United States without abandoning your residence, then in almost every case, nothing about your status has changed or is likely to change from normal legislative activity. Your green card is still good, your rights are still there. You do not need to rush and file anything extra. You do not need to feel scared. What you should do instead is stay informed through trustworthy places only. Let's talk for a moment about where you can actually get reliable information because this part is very important. The only official and safe places for US immigration news and rules are these government websites: uscis.gov for citizenship and immigration services, state.gov for visa information, ice.gov for enforcement matters, and cbp.gov for border and entry questions. If you want to check the status of your own case, use the USCIS online case tracking tool with your receipt number. If you want to learn about new policies, look in the USCIS Policy Manual or the Federal Register, where every new rule must be officially published. If you want to know about new laws, always go to congress.gov. Never rely on random social media posts. Never trust viral videos. Never believe screenshots of supposed government papers that someone shared without any real source. Now let's gently clear up some of the most common rumors that spread like wildfire every time immigration news appears. Rumor number one: green card holders will be deported just for leaving the country. That is completely false. Green card holders have always had the right to travel internationally. What is true is that if you stay outside the United States for more than 6 months, officers might ask questions about whether you still consider America your permanent home. If you stay out for more than one full year without getting a special re entry permit first, you could be found to have abandoned your residence. This rule has existed for decades, it is not new. If you know you will be traveling abroad for a long time, simply apply for a re entry permit before you leave. Rumor number two: USCIS is going to start canceling green cards randomly. That is also false. USCIS cannot take away a green card without a good reason and without giving you due process. If they think your green card was gotten through fraud or that you are deportable, they must start proper removal proceedings in immigration court. There you have the right to a fair hearing, the right to show your evidence, and the right to appeal. This whole process is controlled by law and does not suddenly change just because one bill passed one chamber of Congress. Rumor number three: green card holders now have to re register or file a brand new application. False again. Once you have your green card, you do not need to re register unless the card itself is expiring. In that case, you simply file Form I-90 to renew it. Or if USCIS sends you a special notice asking for something, you respond to that. There is no general rule that forces all green card holders to re register. If you ever get any message saying you must re register, always check directly with USCIS because it could be a scam. Rumor number four: new laws will make it much harder to renew your green card. It is possible in some cases, but very unlikely for most people. Renewing a green card is usually a simple administrative process. You file Form I-90, send your documents, pay the fee, and get a new card. The only time renewal gets complicated is if there is already a problem with your status, like a criminal conviction, signs of abandoning your residence, or fraud. If a new law makes the rules stricter for certain crimes, it might affect a small number of cases, but it would not touch the huge majority of green card holders who have clean records. Rumor number five: green card holders will lose access to public benefits. This one is a bit more complicated. Over the years, there have been several attempts to limit immigrants' access to certain benefits. Some states have their own extra rules. Federal law already limits green card holders from getting some benefits during the first 5 years after getting their status. New laws could try to restrict this further, but any real change would need to go through the full process of passing both houses, getting the president's signature, and then being turned into detailed rules by government agencies, which always takes time. If you are currently receiving benefits and feel worried, talk to a benefits counselor or a trusted immigration attorney. Now, let's talk about the practical things you should actually be doing if you are a green card holder. Number one: keep your green card itself valid and up to date. If your card will expire within the next 6 months, go ahead and file Form I-90 to renew it. Do not let the physical card expire even though your actual status does not expire, because an expired card can cause unnecessary problems when you need to prove your status for jobs, travel, or other important things. Number two, if you are already eligible for naturalization, think seriously about applying for citizenship. Usually, you need to have been a green card holder for 5 years or 3 years if you got your green card through marriage to a US citizen. You also need to meet rules about living here continuously, speak, read, and write basic English, pass a simple civics test, and show good moral character with no serious crimes. Once you become a US citizen, you gain the strongest protections possible. You cannot be deported, you can vote, and you can get a US passport. Naturalization is truly the best long term protection against any future changes in immigration law. Number three, keep good records of every time you travel outside the United States. Save copies of your boarding passes, passport stamps, and entry records. If anyone ever questions whether you abandoned your residence, these records will help you prove how long you were gone and why you traveled. Number four, stay far away from any kind of criminal activity, even small things. For green card holders, even a minor misdemeanor can sometimes create immigration problems. Never drive after drinking. Never get into situations that could lead to an arrest. Number five, never vote in federal elections. It is against the law for non citizens and it can lead to deportation. Some local elections in certain places might allow non citizens to vote, but federal elections are completely off limits. If you are ever unsure, just wait until you are a citizen. Number six, always keep your address updated with USCIS. The law requires green card holders to report any move within 10 days. You can do this easily and for free online at USCIS -gov using Form AR11. Forgetting to do this is actually a violation of immigration law. Number seven, if you are ever arrested for any reason at all, contact a good immigration attorney immediately. Do not talk to police or immigration officers without your lawyer present. You have the right to stay silent. Use that right. Tell them clearly that you want to speak with an attorney. Never sign any paper you do not fully understand. Sadly, many people have been tricked into signing voluntary departure forms or admitting things that later cause them to be deported. I also want to say a quick word about news from Canada or the UK, because sometimes immigration stories in one country make people in other countries worry. If you follow updates from IRCC in Canada or the Home Office in the UK, remember that each country runs its own completely separate immigration system with its own laws and rules. A change in US law does not automatically affect Canadian permanent residents or UK visa holders. Still, big policy ideas sometimes move between countries, so it is smart to stay informed about all of them if you have connections in more than one place. Finally, please remember that this video is only for general learning and education. It is not personal legal advice. Immigration law can be quite complicated, and every person's situation is different. If you have specific questions about your own case, your status, your benefits, or any risk you might face, you must speak with a licensed immigration attorney who can look at your full story and give you advice that fits you perfectly. So, here is the simple and calm message I want you to carry with you from this video. First, immigration law does not flip upside down overnight just because one chamber of Congress votes on something. Second, your rights and protections as a green card holder stay exactly the same unless and until a bill actually becomes signed law. And even then, most new rules only touch narrow groups of people, not everyone. Third, never let yourself panic because of scary viral headlines or social media posts. Always check the real facts through official government websites. Fourth, if you have any worries about your status, especially if you have a criminal history or a complicated past, talk to a licensed immigration attorney. And fifth, if you are eligible for naturalization, strongly think about applying because becoming a US citizen gives you the strongest possible protection. If this video helped you feel calmer and gave you clear facts instead of fear, please do one small thing for me. Hit the subscribe button right now for global immigration updates. This is the channel that will always tell you the truth, cut through all the noise, and give you real information instead of panic. Turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Share this video with your family, friends, or anyone in your community who might be feeling scared or confused by the headlines they are seeing today. And leave a comment below. Tell me what immigration topics you want me to explain next, what questions are on your mind, or what worries you are facing. I read every single comment, and your questions help me make videos that truly help this community. Remember, having the right and accurate information is real power, and you deserve to know the truth about your immigration status. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next update.